order. If you could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Madam Clerk, can I please have a roll call?
Supervisor Alex Apian.
Here.
Trustee Dean Morelli.
Here.
Trustee Craig Vickers. Absent. Trustee Karen Johnson.
Here.
Trustee Denise Salvino.
Present.
Assessor Marianne Williamson.
Here.
Highway Commissioner Jim Louch.
Here.
Collector Jessica Kennedy. I think she was on
She
Zoom.
is.
Okay.
Yep.
And Attorney Gary Mueller.
Present.
All right.
All right. First item on the agenda for Road and Bridge is the approval of minutes for the monthly meeting of December 10th, 2024. I will need a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion by Denise Salvino,
I'll second.
second by Karen Johnson. Any questions on the minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Move on to the next item, which is the approval of bills for the amount of $120,482.51. I will need a motion to pay the bills.
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Karen Johnson,
I'll second.
second by Denise Salvino. Any questions on the bills? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, can I please have a roll call?
Sapien.
Yes.
Morelli.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Salvino.
Yes.
Do we have any citizens wishing to address the board tonight in regards to Road and Bridge? All right, we're hearing and seeing none. We move on to the Highway Commissioner's report. Commissioner Louch, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, Board. No big report other than we've gotten into our salt reserves. We haven't used them very much last year, so we're finally getting into a big pile of salt. We're also using one of our new trucks, and our next delivery of our other truck that we'll be purchasing should be a couple of months. New trucks. Want to thank the board for helping the road district with the new equipment. It really helps out.
Good to hear. Thank you. I have no other business. Can I entertain a motion to adjourn the Road and Bridge Fund meeting?
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Denise Salvino,
I'll second.
second by Karen Johnson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Road and Bridge Fund meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Moving on now to the Town Fund. First item on the agenda for the Town Fund, I have approval of minutes for the monthly meeting of December 10th, 2024. I will need a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Karen Johnson,
I'll second.
second by Denise Salvino. Any questions on the minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, I have bills in the amount of $589,678.19. Quick little breakdown of the bills. You'll notice the bills are a little bit higher this month once again. The reason for that is because we had a project in Bonnie Bray in partnership with the county for an amount of just a little over $359,000. And so that skews our total bill amount by a little bit. The regular bills is actually $229,000, which is a lot more typical. If we look a little bit below, I included a breakdown of the reimbursements just because in November and December we also paid more for projects, and I want to show we are indeed getting reimbursed for these projects from the county. You'll notice that in Riley Avenue, we received a check for $122,000, and that totals $305,000, so we're all closed on that project. In Bonnie Bray, we received $385,000. We are expecting $0, so we closed out that project. And then finally about the garage, I'll talk more about that in the building report, but our grant was approved and we did receive the first reimbursement for the first invoice. But going back to the bills, does anyone have any questions on the bills for Town Fund? Hearing none, can I entertain a motion to approve the bills?
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Karen Johnson,
I'll second.
second by Denise Salvino. Madam Clerk, can I please have a roll call?
Johnson.
Yes.
Morelli.
Yes.
Salvino.
Yes.
Sapien.
Yes. Moving on, do we have any citizens wishing to address the board tonight in regards to the Town Fund? We do have one resident. If you could please state your name for the record, and you have 3 minutes.
name is Julie Connor. I live in Lockport Township. I live on Lawrence Avenue, and there's been an ongoing issue with property assessment in Lockport Township. Part is Lockport Township Assessor Marion Williamson. This is a letter from the Attorney General to PAC Division. I requested the math calculations on my own home. I was denied that, those math calculations. I'm entitled to them. I've had so many issues and questions regarding my own home over the years that I literally became a certified Illinois assessment officer. I'm a certified teacher. And now I'm certified to be on the board of review. I have taken so many classes so that I can understand the math calculations, and I am entitled to them. I am literally entitled to them. This was from last year. I still don't have them. It's still under investigation. Okay, that's one problem. Another problem is Fairmont. I decided to look into other issues in property assessment, and this is a county problem. So this is a map of Fairmont. I have 24 of these. The white are homes, the blue and the pink are vacant land. The blue is one company, and the pink is everybody else. Vacant land should be assessed uniformly. The problem in the county is that it's not. So I'm just gonna give you one, I have 3 minutes, and I'll give you one quick thing. So this is one company, and this is another person that owns 16 vacant lots. In 2023, these were assessed the same, actually by Marion Williamson. She did an equity study, and they were assessed the same. The Board of Review and the Chief County Assessing Officer decided, for unknown reasons, that they would give one company, a lucky company, the luckiest company of all, a 92% reduction. So this tax bill for all 16 lots is $494. This person that has the same size lots next door pays $6,620. This isn't an anomaly. This is all through Fairmont. This is ridiculous. I cannot get answers as to why this happened. These were not all tax sales. This was sold in 2017 to this company, and it is assessed now lower than what they paid for. These people right here paid $568 for each of their lots. This lucky company paid $30 for each of theirs above. There's 212 of these, and 406 other lots from other people, other companies, are paying an astronomical rate. So then it gets worse, because of course, Fairmont, everything I look at, it gets worse. Fairmont, this company was the only one to get this letter from the Will County Supervisor Assessment's Office. It's a stipulation letter. It's signed by Dale Butala, the Chief County Assessment Officer, and it states that these 212 parcels get to keep this low rate until the year 2027, with the addition of the factor, right? But we all know that if it's a $6,000 bill and they get hit with 10%, it's way more than if you, a 10% on $494. So this actually makes it worse. So then it gets worse. So I FOIA'd this letter back to the county. That stipulation letter on Fairmont, where we all have to pay more than our fair share in Lockport Township, that's the only letter that was granted, the only FOIA letter. I asked why this company got this.
Times.
Is it up?
Yep.
So Dale Butala wrote this, so you can get a hold of it. It's a bunch of lies with my name on it. And he says, and here, this is important for all Lockport residents, it lists a state statute, and that state statute is an owner-occupied homestead exemption. So why would one person with 212 vacant lots get a homestead exemption until the year 2027? And it's not a small amount. It's a market value reduction of $2.4 million, and it's a tax break of $75,000 per year. And we should really, really get answers to this. Fairmont deserves it. Thank you. I could go on for an hour on this, and I think I'm going to give a presentation later next month on the whole situation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any other citizens wishing to address the board tonight? Hearing and seeing none. We move on now to the clerk's report. Madam Clerk, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Supervisor. I'd like to wish everyone a Happy New Year. The 2025 monthly meeting schedule that was approved at our last meeting was published in the Joliet Herald News. On December 13, 2024, I electronically filed both tax levies with the Will County Clerk's Office. I have submitted the information to Will County for the statement of economic interest for our filers. Officials, please remember to be on the lookout for your email to arrive so you can complete your individual filing due by May 1st, 2025. A reminder to everyone that any agenda item requests for the annual town meeting agenda must be submitted to the clerk's office by March 1st, 2025. Please make sure to refer to the power of the electors for guidance on all agenda item requests. The clerk's office received nomination papers in December of 2024. I also held the ballot placement lottery on January 10th, 2025, and filed the certification of ballot to the Will County Clerk's Office the same day. Since our last meeting, the clerk's office has had over 130 people visit our office for notary services. We've also distributed over 50 diaper bundles to those in need. FOIA requests have been weekly. I am looking forward to setting our days and hours for early voting for the consolidated election. Election day for the consolidated election is April 1st, 2025. Early voting is anticipated to take place at the Lockport Township building in the community room starting Monday, March 17th, 2025, and ending Saturday, March 29th, 2025. I'm just waiting for the email so I can choose my days and hours. Lastly, preparations are underway for the 5th Annual Community Fun Day to be held on Saturday, May 17th, 2025, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. here in the Township Building. Please contact the clerk's office for details on participation. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We do have the assessor here today. Madam Assessor, would you like to give the report?
I do have just a brief, very brief report. So, just so that the board is aware and township residents are aware, the Supervisor of Assessments Office holds an annual meeting in December for all assessors in Will County. One of the things that is discussed at that meeting and presented is what our tentative factor for the upcoming year will be. So as we start the 2025 assessment year, my office will start by reviewing some of decisions on reductions that may have taken place in 2024 to see if those need to be adjusted again. And we'll also be reviewing Board of Review decisions that took place in the 2024 cycle. So then we begin the process of the 3-year sales ratio study. So the tentative factor that we received from Will County is 1.1282. So what that means is, as I begin the assessment for 2025, as I begin reviewing the sales ratio study for the neighborhoods, overall, I'm expected to increase assessed value in Lockport Township by almost 13% for 2025. So that figure, that's, we've had, the past couple of years, we've had pretty high factors like this. Those increases, they're not random, they're based on sales in Lockport Township. So as, people buy and sell houses within Lockport Township, as the prices continue to rise, that's what's at play with that 13% increase. It's significant, there's no doubt about it, that that's a significant increase for assessed value, but it's based on what the sales have demonstrated over the past 3 years. So we're going to be working on raising assessed values in the neighborhoods where it's appropriate. What that means down the road for a property tax bill, it's kind of hard to say, because a 13% increase in your assessed value does not translate necessarily to a 13% increase in your property tax bill. And that's because there are two sides to the equation. There's my assessments, the values that I produce, and then there's the taxing bodies and all the other taxing bodies that determine a levy. So in theory, when assessments go up, tax rates can go down if levies stay relatively consistent. if levies go up along with assessments, then property tax bills almost certainly will see an increase. So, it's just something, that we'll be looking, as we start moving into the 2025 assessment year in earnest, where those increases will take place. And that's really all I have tonight, unless anybody has some questions about that.
Thank you. Before we move on to trustees' comments and suggestions, Madam Clerk, is everything okay?
Yeah, I'm trying to determine, so Jessica told me, hey, I'm not part of the meeting. I said, I see you, but we have microphone issues. And then I need to know if Greg is absent or is he voting? Because I never had notification as to why, so just if we can determine that, so make sure to include him on roll call. Is he just a participant or is he active voting?
Okay.
Did you,
Otherwise, this isn't something that we can address
right now?
right away. All right, so we'll move on. Okay, do we have any comments or suggestions from the trustees tonight?
I do. I happened to be driving behind one of the new buses the other day as they were going around, and I happened to notice, I don't know if you had a different company that did lettering on the back of the bus, but there's quite a significant difference between the old bus and the new bus. The old bus was nice and clear and had a really large phone number for people to call for a ride. And on the new bus, the largest thing is the supervisor's name. And all of the other people's names have been reduced in size, but most importantly, the phone number is smaller. And I think the phone number, I don't know, I mean, our names are not even a necessity to be on the back, but I know that they've always been there. But I think the phone number should be the largest thing and not the supervisor's name. So I just wondered what the change was, if there was any particular reason, or...
Sure, no, that's a good point. I know, because of the back of the bus was a little bit different, I wasn't aware that the phone number had decreased, especially not significantly. So I'll be sure to look into that and get that changed. So thank you for that. Any other comments or suggestions from the trustees? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to the building report. So first, we have an update regarding the garage. I'll give the more general updates. So, first things first, as I mentioned in the breakdown of the reimbursement, but we are starting to receive the reimbursement for the garage. Back when I came into office, there had been an application submitted for federal funding, ARPA funds during COVID, and after some extensive filing and submitting some documents, the grant was approved in the amount of $326,994. And so the first invoice that we had approved with the garage contractor, after that, I submitted that, and the first reimbursement check was sent to our office just recently this month. And so we'll have another $200,000, so this covers a little over half the bus, half the garage. And then, I won't go too technical into the update, but we do have senior maintenance here today that will give us a more technical update on the garage. But the timeline for the garage is hopefully it will be complete by the end of this month. All the rough inspections have been completed. At the December meeting, I know we had tabled the payment of the second invoice. I did let the contractor know that we had tabled it, and they were very understanding. Again, because at the time the rough inspections were completed, but now they are. And so we are now able to potentially approve the second invoice. But now I'll just hand it over to senior maintenance, who would like to present a couple more updates.
Good evening, everyone. I was out this afternoon, I just took some pictures of the interior of the garage. I don't know if you guys have been out there. I only made one copy of the save some ink. We've got this, this is my update, but I'll go over this if you want to follow along. Here you go. Yeah, and I'll get into that later in a couple minutes. There you go. Gary, I got one for you too there. Thank you. So as Alex just mentioned, we did get all of our rough inspection test for the city of Lockport building inspector. That would be the electric, the framing, and the gas lines. With the framing passed, that allowed us to have the insulation work started, and it is completed now. We completed with R23 fiberglass batts in the wall cavities and R39 fiberglass batts in the ceiling. That's per our architect's drawing. Both gas heaters right now are installed. One is hooked up and running. They're gonna hook the other one up when the electrical finish work is being completed. Being in there, just take my pictures and check some things out. I can say with the insulation in there and the drywall in, the one heater is doing an amazing job. So I think we'll be able to kind of run one for a couple weeks and then shut that one off and then run the other one, so both of them aren't running full time, so we can extend the life period of both the heaters. It's really warm in there. The one guy working said he wished he had the tank top on. He said he wished he had shorts on the day that I was in there. So, as I said, then the insulation is done. The insulation inspection passed, and then they were able to install the 5/8" fire-rated drywall on the ceilings and walls. That's taped and has one coat of drywall compound applied, and today they were sanding and starting the second coat in the parts of the garage that we're sanding. So they're moving along on that. Once that is done, then the interior painting will begin. Tentatively, they're hoping Thursday or Friday of this week. Once again, per the architect's drawing, the ceiling is to be painted white. We discussed with the contractor, and at no charge to us, we're gonna put like a lighter shade of gray on the walls. We thought maybe that'd help hide some dirt and dust as we move forward with this garage. The other one gets kind of dirty. Once again, there was no charge to us, it's just tinting the white, and they kind of suggested that too, so. All the outside metalwork is complete, with the exception of the gutters and the downspouts. I talked to Dominic, the foreman, today. He tentatively has that scheduled for Thursday or Friday this week, as the weather's supposed to be a little bit warmer. Thursday in the 30s, Friday it's supposed to be in the 40s. So they're hoping to get that done. He's also scheduling some, couple loads of dirt. That'll be like a rough grade around the building right now. I'm not exactly sure what the contract called for the drawing, but I do believe they have to return the area around the building back to grass, so that's why that can be addressed in the springtime. That'll be a punch list item, I believe. Quinlan was out here last week. They got their rough-in of the fire alarm panel in, and once the painting is completed, then they'll come back in and they'll finish their finish work on that. Also, just a little note, the back of the existing garage, all the way around the existing garage, has the brown metal skirting around the bottom of it. The drawings for the new garage only showed the metal skirting on the west and east side of the garage. We did have brown metal skirt, or brown metal material left over, so we went ahead and we had them go ahead and apply that to the back of the garage, just to kind of keep them both uniform, also to keep our neighbors happy to the north of us there.
I was just gonna say, I received an email from a neighbor.
Right. So, and I talked to a couple people about it, and then I spoke with Alex about it. They had started a little bit, so they had to make a cut and cut the white out, but to keep them happy, and really aesthetically, I think it looks better for the whole thing. We didn't have to pay for any extra material, we had that, so that's taken care of as well. So there are a few items to be completed, and obviously this isn't set in stone here, but, so the finished electric work will start, including the interior and exterior lighting, switches, lighting controls, and thermostat. And when I say lighting controls, we have like a motion sensor that's gonna be in there, so when someone comes in the garage, the lights come on. The switches will still be there to manually operate, but when we leave, if someone didn't turn the lights off, the lights will turn off after a set amount of time, which is an energy-saving thing that I believe is required through the city. Like I said, the alarm system will get finished along with the security system. The garage door openers need to be installed. They're also going to clean and seal the garage floor. Like I said, the finished landscaping, we got some rocks and some boulders out there that they're going to get rid of. They're going to take that. Also, they need to complete the drainage pipe extension on the north side of the garage, which exits out west to the field. And there's a drain pit they're going to put in. They're changing that a little bit from the architect's drawing. They're going to put like a trap in, and any excess water would come up through the trap and out onto the grass. This is, again, no charge to us. They're going to have the trap not go up, but go down and into like a 3 foot by 3 foot gravel-filled pit. which will allow the water to absorb into the ground, underneath the ground, to help any type of flooding, if we would ever get that system, that drain system to fill up. So then there'll obviously be some other punch list items we can address as we see them, as we near the completion of this project, and there's probably a couple other things that are gonna pop up, and I'll just try to keep my best eye out for them. I've been out there trying to do daily or so, and just touching base with the contractor and making sure everything's going smooth, so. In conclusion, from my end, I'd just like to add that I know this was kind of considered to be a difficult start to this project. But with Dominic, the foreman, and the other employees from Action One, they've been very cooperative to me in providing me updates and information in regards to the project. They've also been pretty diligent about keeping not only the new garage, but the old garage as well cleaned up and organized as their work has progressed. That's pretty important to me when I did site work. I try to leave my workplace cleaner than when I got there. First off, I like to start the day in a clean area. It's safer, and I think that's kind of shines a good light on me. I know it's been a long process, but I'm pretty confident the majority of the work.
Dave, can you wait 1 second? Greg Bickus is calling. He said he can't hear on them. Can I put him on speaker?
Sure.
Hi, Greg. Can you hear? I'm gonna put you on speaker and put you in the middle of the table. Okay. Okay, sorry, Dave.
That's okay. So yeah, I'm pretty confident, as Alex said, the work should be pretty much completed by the end of this month, maybe the beginning of the first week of next month, and then we should be able to start utilizing a new addition at our facility beginning of February. Maybe get the old buses in there right now. We've had some issues with having to jump them and stuff like that. At least we're figuring out what we're doing with that. And then I would figure it's springtime, that'll probably be the end of our punch list with this contractor. So, and if anyone, as always, please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns regarding the completion of the project moving forward. And that's what I have for you all tonight.
I just have one quick question. So
Yes,
those
ma'am.
gas heaters that are keeping it toasty in there, are they running on a thermostat or?
Yes, they are. They have a temporary thermostat hooked up in there. They had to get the heat going to start the drywall mud process, and then for the painting, and then also for the sealing of the concrete when they get to that. That'll be toward the end of the painting and stuff like that. So, but they have one heater running, the other one isn't. It's installed, but it's not hooked up electrically yet. But they had it set at like 75, and it's like, or 65, I should say. That's like 72, 73 in there. So just that insulation is keeping the heat in there and some stuff. I don't know if anyone, if you look at the pictures, there is on the one garage door, there's a little bit of light you can see through it on the big overhead door. That's gonna all get adjusted when they get the openers in there. So, and then we have a keypad outside, so everything should work out pretty good. So, that's where we're at with that.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any other questions for me tonight? Okay.
Thanks, Dave.
Well, thank you for allowing me to come and speak. Everyone have a good evening, stay warm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for the update.
So, as the gentleman was saying, give a very thorough update. All rough inspections have been passed. So just for a bit of a timeline regarding payment. So once rough inspections are all passed, that warrants potential approval of the second payment. After this, in order to receive the third payment, there would need to be a final inspection. So if the garage is truly finished by next board meeting, then there's potential for a third payment to be approved. But then ultimately, there is going to be a 10% left on retainer that won't be paid until the punch list is completed. And as Dave was saying, that might be until the springtime because some of the items on the punch list, like adding some extra grass, sod, etc., do require warmer temperatures. But just again, timeline for the board. Any questions on the second invoice before we put it up for approval? All right, we're hearing none. Can I entertain a motion to pay the second invoice of the new garage?
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Karen Johnson,
I'll second.
second by Dean Morales. Madam Clerk, I please have a roll call.
Sapien?
Yes.
Morelli?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Salvino?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on. We'll move on now to the next item on the agenda, and that's to purchase tickets to the State of the City address for the City of Lockport. So I did include it in everyone's packet. Karen, you mind clicking or go on Google Chrome? Here. Okay. So the State of the City address is happening on February 18th. And it is $60 a ticket for members of the Chamber of Commerce. The township is a member. I know traditionally the board members, or some board members who are interested or able, have attended in the past. Are there any board members here that are interested in attending? 1, 2, 3, 4. Unsure if other board members. How about this?
I don't think I can make it.
You can make it? We still have potentially trustee Biggins, the collector, highway, and the assessors, that's 4. So how about, we could approve up to 8, and I'll reach out to the other board members and ask them if they're interested. And if they are, we'll purchase their ticket. If not, but otherwise, yeah, that's really it. There are possibilities to sponsor, but let me check. I believe the bronze sponsorship just has 2 tickets. So right now we're looking at 4 guaranteed, so that's 240. There's potential for silver. Silver would have 4, but if we had more than that, gold, that's 6, that's 240, 360 tickets, or platinum. I don't know if the board is interested, but I'm okay with just getting the tickets, but I did want to bring that up to the board in case anyone was interested in that.
We've just purchased the tickets in the past, haven't we?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay. Cool. So how about we'll purchase up to 8, and again, I'll reach out to the other board members that are not present. So if I could entertain a motion to purchase up to 8 tickets to the Lockport State of the City address.
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Vinnie Salvino,
I'll second.
second by Karen Johnson. Madam Clerk, can I please have a roll call?
Salvino,
Yes?
Johnson,
Yes.
Morelli,
Yes.
Sapien.
Yes. All right, I'll move on now to something of a similar topic. So here I have, I was reached out to by the Park District as well as the Fairmont Community Partnership Group. So every year, or at least for the past 3 years, they've had an event to commemorate Juneteenth at AF Hill Park, June 19th. I know last year we were invited. I remember I was there, it was extremely hot. But this year we were invited to support the event via sponsorship. From the way it was written in the email, it was kind of more of like a courtesy, like, hey, if you're interested in sponsoring this or supporting this. I wasn't given an amount, but again, this is addressed to both myself and the board, so I'll open it up to the board for discussion.
Did we contribute last year?
So no, we have not contributed in prior years.
Did they have sponsorships before? We just didn't know ahead of time, or do you know?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not
Looks
sure.
like maybe they're stepping up.
I know in the first year it was pretty bare bones. And then in the second year is when the Park District upped the budget by a good amount. They had a lot of tables there, but I don't remember if they had sponsorships. But certainly not as robust as it is now.
Well, what do you think about the township having a table there? I think that's kind of the deciding factor if we decide to sponsor between the first and second level. Is that there be a table to have information on?
Yeah.
We've done it at the Columbia Road or something, didn't we?
Right. So the email was sent to me as like an invitation to this event, and it said, oh, and if you're interested in sponsoring. So, I mean, I don't want to make any assumptions, but I would think because they've invited us in the past and given us a table without requesting a sponsorship, that they might extend the same courtesy. And maybe we could do a smaller sponsorship, but again, I can't make that assumption.
Where are we at with our donations for, we were trying to spread our donations out amongst
Like the
the
cities?
communities, the cities?
Yeah. I thought about that right before I came down. So, okay, so Crest Hill is the smallest group. We spent about $750 for a shred truck. City of Lockport, we've done 6,500, Romaville, 6,350, and then we have other, right? So that includes Canal Days, State of Village for Romaville, and now potentially State of the City for Lockport. So disregarding that, whatever that amount would be, we still have $5,600 left.
But we're
So it's still a pretty decent
over
amount.
budget for Lockport, but way under budget for Crest Hill.
Right, and so
They don't have,
Right, they don't have any
events.
I reached out to their, their city, their alderman and their mayor. They don't really have the events. That's what warranted this red truck, is we had to create an event.
Suggest 250.
Yeah, that's an amount I was thinking about too. I would say generally speaking, obviously it's not a written policy, but when we do start to support events for the first time, like for example, like the Women's Company is a spooky night out, right? We usually started at 250, and then depending on how it goes or input, then we increase it in the following year. And then this event is all the way in June, so if we go past April or May, we get closer to the date, and the new board decides they want to increase their sponsorship. I'm sure they can do that as well. Again, it would be a new budget.
Well, but it's saying the sponsorship runs due by March 14th, so.
Oh, is it March 14th? That's pretty, wow, that's
I
pretty,
think 250 is a good place to start.
yeah.
Maybe 250 or 500, so I'm fine with 250.
Fine with 250, I'm fine with 250 as well. Okay, in that case, can I entertain a motion to support the annual Lockport Township Park District Receipt event with $250?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Ms. Salvino,
I'll second.
second by Karen Johnson. Madam Clerk, please have a roll call.
Morelli,
Yes.
Sapien,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Selvino.
Yes.
All right. That concludes our approvals for tonight. Move on to new business and discussion. So quick update regarding the community mental health project. So as the board may recall, but we did approve and then subsequently transfer an amount of $25,000 to the mental health program. This past month of December, we did spend a little over $10,000, meaning the program continues to grow. We have a remaining grant balance of $17,000. We will have one more month to pay in this fiscal year, and that's the month of January, which we paid in February. And then the month of February, we paid in March, which is then a new budget, a new fiscal year. So I'm confident that $17,000 will be able to cover the amount for to be paid in February. But in terms of news, I am meeting with, the fire chief and I are meeting with the superintendent of Richmond Schools later this week. Joliet Township, a couple of months ago, they started to expand and integrate the program with the school district, specifically Joliet Township High School. And so we started to branch out in hopes that we could try to incorporate it into Lockport Township High School, where they have a lot of things going on right now. But the Richmond School District, which is over in Presto, they've agreed to sit down and take our meeting. So I'll provide the board with an update next month to see how that goes. Any questions on the mental health program?
What does that look like, when you integrate with the schools, just so the school, like administrators or counselors, are
aware
referring
of it?
people to it as well?
Correct. So what we have found is that a lot of the school counselors are overwhelmed with the sheer amount of number of cases they've had to deal with. And it's far exceeding even just people they can hire. So this is like, the school counselors are able to kind of refer students to this program, especially those that need care outside of school. All right, we'll move on to newsletter updates. So I want to remind the board again that the newsletter series did go out to bid on November 27th. We did have a total of 4 bidders. In the bid packet, what our bid packet will be included was our copy of our updated responsible bidders ordinance. After the bidding session was over, I did reach out to each of the 4 bidders individually and asked them if they could provide paperwork that shows that they comply with our responsible bidders ordinance. I did have one bidder, known as Hack Press, that reached out to me over the phone and verbally withdrew their bid, saying they weren't able to comply, so that left 3 more bidders. And while we could have considered several factors like, quality and references, it seemed pretty they were all virtually indistinguishable, the quality of the newsletters. And so we just went straight off of just cost or pricing. And so as a result, the lowest responsible bidder is Visographic. They do have good references. They do the newsletter for the Lockport Township Park District as well as for the Village of Wilmington. So we did award the contract at the end of December, and we, so my staff and their staff, so the owner and the project manager, have already met, and we've already gotten started on the spring newsletter. We wanted to start a little bit early just because we have to reinvent the wheel here a little bit, but we are going to be ambitious and hope to have a final draft by middle of February. Our goal is to make sure it's in people's mailboxes by early March, because we do have some events going on. I understand the clerk's office hosts early voting every year, and we want to make sure that residents are aware that there is early voting going on at the township building. So that's the general timeline.
So are they doing the design, or do they have a software that someone here can use to submit? In other words,
No,
question with one of the past printers that he might have saved a little money.
No, when this went out to bid, the design was a part of the bid packet. It was a part of, it had to be included in their price. So they are doing the design as well. I think the reason we wanted to start a little bit earlier though, is because they need to essentially recreate the newsletter. And so we need to resend all of the pictures, high resolution, et cetera, so that takes a little bit of time. We did actually get the first template today, and it's looking pretty good so far. But I think that's what's going to take the longest. But after that, I mean, half the pages are virtually the same every issue. But again, we have one staff member, a community engagement manager, and I've delegated this over other tasks to other people, and her full-time job is just focused on the newsletter right now. Okay. So we'll move on now to upcoming events. We do have a township special meeting to review the proposed budget. That'll be on Monday, January 27th at 5 p.m. The accountants will be there, and that'll be located here in the building, most likely in my office on the second floor. Past events, the Children's Winter event was held on December 11th here in the building. A lot of fun. And that's it. I have no correspondence. Any final questions or comments from the board? All right, hearing none, can I entertain a motion to adjourn the town fund meeting?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion by Karen Johnson,
I'll second.
second by Lee Salvina. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, town fund meeting is adjourned. We move on now to the senior fund meeting. So the first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes for the monthly meeting of December 10th, 2024. I will need a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion by Denise Salvino,
A second?
second by Karen Johnson. Any questions on the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? All right, moving on to the bills. I have bills this month in the amount of $59,330.29. I will need a motion to pay the bills.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion by Karen Johnson,
I'll second.
second by Denise Salvino. Any questions on the bills this month? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, I please have a roll call.
Sapien?
Yes,
Morelli?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Salvino?
Yes.
motion carries. Do I have any citizens wishing to address the board tonight in regards to the senior fund? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to new business and the bus report. The only thing I have this month is the bus report. So in December, we had a total of 496 trips. There was 19 business days in which the buses were operational. That brings our average rides per day to 26.1, which is a little bit on the higher end compared to other months. We ended 2024 with an average of 507 rides per month, which is up from the previous month. And that is, though it's small, but it is a 2% increase from rides overall in 2023. Any questions on the bus report? Well, I have no other business. I could entertain a motion to adjourn the senior fund meeting.
I'll make that
I
motion.
have a motion by Denise Salvino,
I'll second.
second by Dean Morelli. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The senior fund meeting is adjourned. And then last but not least, we have the general assistance fund. First item on the agenda is the approval of minutes for the monthly meeting of December 10th, 2024. I will need a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion by Karen Johnson,
I'll second.
second by Denise Salvino. Any questions on the minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Moving on to the bills. I have bills in the amount of $13,446.53. I will need a motion to approve the bills.
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Denise Salvino,
I'll second.
second by Karen Johnson. Any questions on the bills? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can I please have a roll call?
Morelli,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Salvino,
Yes.
Sapien.
Yes. Motion carries. Do you have any citizens wishing to address the board tonight? All right, hearing and seeing none, we move on to the GA report and new business. I have no new business. For the GA report, I have included two as usual. If we could first flip to the system activity report, which should be in the very back of the packet. But we had 8 cases. It's a little bit lower this month due to the holidays, but we had 8 cases. 8 of them were not eligible for general assistance, but of those 8, 7 were eligible for emergency assistance. One of them was not. But of the 7 eligible, the total grant amount given out was $6,395.70. If we look
I'm
at
sorry, 7. I'm not looking at it.
6395,
Thank you.
that's 7.
Okay.
If we then look at the report labeled grant disbursements, we see we have a total of 9 grants. The reason for that is there was 2 residents that split their grant between 2 bills, but the total grant amount is again the $6395.70. And then if we were to look at the bill list and add up the grants there, we see the amounts also check out. Any questions on GA? Right. Hearing none, I have no other business. Any final questions or comments from the board tonight? Hearing none, if I can entertain a motion to adjourn the general assistance meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Denise Salvino,
I'll second.
second by Karen Johnson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Anytime, do you want apples,
Do you
bread, or potato chips?